what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at my favorite filming spot location because guess what? We have that 3-row mid-size SUV from Cadillac that has some new touches. This is a 2023 Cadillac XT6. This particular one is the sport trim. But before we get into this all-wheel drive 3-row SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Cadillac. When I say Cadillac, what vehicle comes to your mind? It's definitely not the XT6, it's the Cadillac Escalade. More so than any other Cadillac, whether it's the Eldorado, the Barrettes, even when we think about the Blackwings today, the end of that internal combustion engine manual transmission, the last hurrah. Well, guess what? Cadillac wants to take that sporty style and performance and bring it into this mid-size 3-row SUV. So this SUV is definitely smaller than an Escalade, but it packs plenty of room. And like I said, there's some changes that have been done to this vehicle, not only on the outside, but also to the interior. But what I want to find out is usually when people are wanting luxury, sporty type SUVs, they go to the German brands, Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. What I want to do is I want to find out, should you be getting one of these XT6s or should you go with an Audi Q7? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our opulent blue XT6 Sport and find out. Right off the bat, new color. I really love this opulent blue. I know it may look purple, but it's not. It's a very, very dark blue, and it really kind of makes this SUV actually look a little sportier. Now, at the front of the business, Cadillac does a bang-up job on their lighting. Full projector beam LED headlights. You got those nice slim headlight housings, a little bit of silver trim, and then I always love the way that they work their daytime running lamps and turn signals, sort of like that waterfall design. Really unique, and you're definitely not going to confuse it with anything coming from the German brands. Now, my one major zonk right off the bat is this guy right here. I like the shape of this area. This is all fake. I wish they would have made some type of functionality out of this vent, or just make it smooth and maybe put some LED fog lamps in there. That might have been a little bit nicer way to go. But compared to the Q7, I feel like this design on the Cadillac looks more contemporary. Now on the lower end, you're gonna get this gloss black on the lower lip extension that goes all the way across, and then more of that beautiful opulent blue. Now as we come across the grille, you're getting that sport design grille. You look at a CT5 Sport, same exact grille. Nice crisscross pattern, gloss black. You got a forward-facing camera with that Cadillac badge. And what I like, besides the camera and the badge, is that you only have the shiny aluminum finish along the bottom, not the top. I think that also helps with the overall sportiness of the front of the vehicle. So gloss matches nicely with the grille, and then you got this nice, sort of like a polished aluminum. It doesn't look like chrome, and it's not chrome. So I'm happy that they didn't chrome it up. Working your way down, more of that same grille design on the lower portion. You can see that aluminum extension there and some of the gloss black, but I really, really like how you have the same design top and bottom when it comes to the grills, and you can see the width at the front end of this vehicle. Now, when we get up onto that low slung hood, you'll notice everything comes to a peak. There's a nice peak, starts on the bottom, rises up onto the hood, and then it disappears as you go towards the windshield. When we come around the bend, get ready for some big things. Coming around the bend, not only do we have big wheels, but we got some massive big brakes. I'm loving this new wheel design. 20-inch wheel. It reminds me of the wheel that was featured on the 2023 C8 Corvette that I did. Same overall shape. Machined aluminum with that nice dark gray finish. You got the Cadillac badge, and then on the Sport, check out the brakes. Massive Brembo 6-piston calipers. Rotors are almost 15 inches in diameter, so you're definitely going to get that awesome braking capability. I love the edge red that they use. It really allows it to pop without looking too obnoxious. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire on this wheel? 235 on the width, 55 series sidewall. My one big head scratcher and the zonk is going to be, why are we using Michelin Primacy Tour tires? If this is supposed to be a sport and we got big old brakes up front, give me a little bit sportier tire, something like you would find on an Audi Q7 or an SQ7. The other thing I like to point out, everything is painted on the fender opening. No flat black, as it should be on this sport trim. Now, as we come down, I like the little addition of the silver Cadillac badge. We got color matched on the mirror caps, LED turn signals. They did it right. They kept everything black. So we have black around the window treatment, just like up front. Color matched door handles, that aluminum trim, just a thin sprinkling of it along the bottom with the XT6 badge. Remember, when you see X, that's dealing with their SUVs. XT4 is the smallest, XT5, XT6, and then there is no XT7, it's called Escalade. But I like the way they have that trim on the bottom. As we go down the side of the vehicle, one thing I'm a little kind of confused about is that they painted the caliper at the back that edge red like up front, but it's not a Brembo caliper. That's your standard floating style caliper. I also do like how they kind of flare out the rear fender a little bit there. Just kind of kicks it out a little bit. Nice large quarter window because we do have 3-row seating. And then as we swing it around back, we go all the way wide around this vehicle. Bang up job by Cadillac. Nice long roof spoiler. You do have your LED lighting just like up front, very stylish, very contemporary. The XT badge, XT6 badge, all that aluminum finish all the way across. One of the things that I feel is like a big waste is this 400. Who cares about this? This is actually the torque in Newton meters rounded up. Let's just leave that off, save the money on the badging. This one's an important badge. We got the all-wheel drive, and then working our way all the way to the bottom. You'll notice just like up front, we got that peak. It comes all the way to the center. You got the decorative trim rings, that stainless steel decorative trim ring. I'm so glad they didn't make any of this look like a vent or anything. And then this cover hides the towing capability of this XT6. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this SUV. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath that, kind of an interesting looking engine, that is for sure, the way that it is designed. But what do we have? We don't have an inline 4, we don't have turbochargers or a supercharger. We have a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6. Pumps out 310 horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 about 6.3 seconds, top speed 132 miles per hour. What's interesting is that the sport trim comes with some performance goodies. It's got a torque vectoring differential setup on it, and you can tow with the vehicle. MPGs, 18 in the city, 25 on the highway, and the all-wheel drive version weighs in at 4,703 pounds. Now, interesting, this compared to the Audi Q7, but why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this V6 and hear if it makes any sound. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Cadillac XT6. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need 3-row capability, but I don't want some big, huge behemoth like the Cadillac Escalade. My friends tell me to buy German. You know what? My dad drove a Cadillac. My grandpappy drove a Cadillac. My great-great-great-pappy even drove a Cadillac. How much is this one? So this one, being a sport, with the opulent blue and the brakes and everything else, you're looking at MSRP of $75,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. What you're gonna notice right away is that two-tone style with the tan and the black and the brown wood. So up top, you have that Napa leather with the Alcantara material. I'm not digging the brown wood. For a sport, this should be dark wood or some other material. We got the optional Bose sound system. I do like the way there's no gloss black around the switchgear, and the stitching is very tasteful. Door pocket, not the largest. So what I would do is I would probably go get a Jimmy John's 9-inch, slide that in there, and a bottle of Mr. Pibb to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, more of that Alcantara, more of that leather, unfortunately more of that brown wood. This would have looked so much cleaner if it was a darker black wood. And get rid of this veneer finish, because all it does is create fingerprints and lots of glare. But I do like the silver trim, how everything comes towards the infotainment system. And when we talk about the infotainment system, don't let the size confuse you. You may say to yourself, well, Joe, that's only an 8-inch infotainment system. My friend's BMW has a 12.3-inch infotainment system. That may be the case, but does size always matter? I don't think so, because with this 8-inch system, you got your full navigation, easy, very easy to swipe. You got a video recorder, you got your cameras that we could get. Look at the clarity on this. You could watch Rady's rides on this thing. I could be coming out of those bushes right there and you would be able to see every detail. We got trajectory. We could go, look, we could take a look at those 20-inch wheels, ba-bam. We could look all different angles. Really like the way the simplicity in how this system works. And then you want to get home, you're right back to home. Rear climate, front climate, and mid climate. I want to put that on recirculating. As you can see, very, very easy to use, and I like that about this system. Obviously, it's wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Working your way down, we got ventilated seats and heated seats, 3 stages apiece. You got your dual climate control. If you don't want to touch the screen, you can touch the switch gear. This is a cool little area. This is where, if I were you, I would like take those pics that you got from going to those different concerts that you collected from all the different bands that you were in love with in the 80s. Keep all those signed guitar picks in this little cubby area. It's got nice stitching. This is going to control that 9-speed automatic. What I like about this center console, no gloss black. Slide this door open, open sesame, 2 cup holders. Here's your Cadillac key fob. It's tasteful, remote start. It's not too large to where it's going to poke you right in the family jewels. You got this nice little direct control knob that's very similar to BMW's setup. You got your mode selector button, and then we got more of that soft leather wireless charging. Open it up, we got the felt lining. So this is where you were going to want to keep. Remember back in the 80s, all of those buttons that you had on your jean jacket? You're going to want to keep those buttons to save them in here. Nice felt lining. The rest of the room, you got USB-C, USB-A. Down below is where you could keep a sack, a purse, a sack, or a satchel. So we're good to go down there. And then the seats. More of that beautiful leather, super soft. Let me know what you think about the tan. I'm digging it with the opulent blue. Full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. We got Alcantara everywhere above us with the headliner, massive panoramic sunroof, and a digital rear view mirror. GM was the first to bring that to market, by the way. But why don't you go ahead, let me put this mirror back on me. Come on over to the business end. I want to show you behind the wheel of this XT6. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. We got 2 memory seat settings. You'll be greeted by a nice aluminum sill plate with the Cadillac logo. When you go sport, you do get some sporty not only fruity pebbles, but sporty pedals. You do have that aluminum brake and throttle. I wish that they had, what is it? Do they run out of aluminum at the factory? That's a zonk. Look at this. I even push on it and it moves. That's not making me feel good. I do like the seats because you got many different ways to adjust them. That's gonna make you feel really good. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom in here, so I'm actually doing pretty well. Steering wheel, you got the leather, you got more of that wood. Get rid of the wood, please. And then you got the aluminum, nice stitch work on the horn button, flat black on everything else. If you notice, we do have Super Cruise. That's what we got going on up there. And then you do have metal paddles, not plastic, metal paddles behind the steering wheel to go through that 9-speed. And we have an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel, which is really nice. Dash, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So you do have your analog tach and speedometer. Then you have that large digital display. We got our different modes, Tour, all-wheel drive, sport, and off-road. You know how we're gonna do it here on Rady's Rides. We're gonna go sport. That's gonna get us going nice and quick down the road. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the mid-row and see if your passengers are gonna be happy you bought a Cadillac or wishing you bought the Audi. Let's go find out. All right, guys, backseat time. And you know what? They did a great job with the amount of room in here. I love the amount of headroom that we have. Seats, let's check out those captain's chair armrests. I guess the good news is they're not that ratcheting kind. I really don't like those. But the bad news is they're not wide enough. This needs to be about another ½ inch wider. I don't know why they go so thin on these captain's chair armrests, but you are getting the same great leather. They didn't cheap out and give you something different. Backs of the seats, leather all the way around. Nice large pockets. You could easily put, I would say, a back scratcher and a mirror, like one of those handheld mirrors, because what you want to do is when you got your kids sitting in the back middle seat area, they could stare at themselves in the mirror and talk to themselves. Because you know, if you can't love yourself and be friends with yourself, you can't be friends with anybody else. That's the truth. Here's another true thing. In the back area, we got this nice little command center. It's got the Cadillac name that lets you know that you're in a Cadillac. Heated seats, 3 stages. I wish there were ventilated seats. So that's gonna be a zonk at this price point, but you do have a USB-C, USB-A, and then watch this. Wha-bam, thank you, ma'am. 2 cup holders and a nice potato chip holder there. So you can have your 2 drinks and your chips, and then you just slide it back. Super clean. I'm feeling good in here. AC vents nicely placed. Let's see, let's do it. You ready? Recline. How about slide? Do we slide? Oh yeah, we slide. But why don't we go ahead, let's see if we could slide into that 3rd row and see if a 6-foot tall person like myself fits back there. Let's go check out the 3rd row. All right guys, 3rd row time. It took me a few seconds to crawl back in here because that's what I had to do, is basically crawl. Once I'm here, height-wise, I'm okay. It's where my knees are. I'm not hungry. I don't want my knees in my mouth. I did have to move this seat up. If this seat did not move up, my knees would be right up against the back of it. I do like the way they did the same leather. A lot of brands, they go cheap on this 3rd row. We got USB-Cs and 2 cup holders. The problem is there's no place for any like snacks, like Slim Jims or Twizzlers. So my advice, just, you can put them on your lap, just be careful, because we all know what can happen. Remember that one time in band camp? But anyways, let's check out the cargo area and see how much stuff we could put in this XT6. All right guys, cargo space time, obviously very important when looking for an SUV. You hit the button, nice electric assist. It is a little slow opening, but the great news is, here is the space that you're greeted to. Now, I left the 3rd row up because I want you to see the real deal Holyfield amount of room that we have. We have 13 cubic feet with the seats up, all of them. Fold the 3rd row down, that gives you 43 cubic feet. Fold the middle row down, that's gonna give you almost 80 cubic feet of space. The great news is check this out. You get a nice little storage area underneath. Pick this up. I would prefer to fill this up with Twinkies. Steven, he is an avid flute and piccolo player, so he actually has his piccolo and flute set in that bag, but that kind of showcases just how much room that we have back here. And I like the way that stays up. Like Steven could get to his piccolo and tune it, and this won't be constantly falling down. It'll stay open for him. Now on the on the driver's side, you'll notice that we have an area for a 12-volt there. And then on the passenger side, we have an array of buttons. First of all, you could take all these little things and push them down. That's kind of bothering me. That's my OCD taking over. We got some buttons here and some switch gear. Watch this. I hit this guy right here. Boom, electric, folding and raising 3rd row. Look at that, nice and quick. And now you got your over 40 cubic feet of space. You fold down that mid row, you have almost 80 cubic feet of space. I want Steven to kind of show what I was seeing in the back, sitting in the 3rd row. So you have USB-Cs for both passengers and your little cup holder. So that's a nice touch. And then we have the Alcantara headliner all the way back. Really, really nice setup. But you know what? They say this XTC is a sport. We got brakes that belong on a Blackwing, at least the front brakes that belong on a Blackwing. Why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this opulent blue XT6 and go on throttle. Let's do it. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Cadillac XT6 Sport. Since we're in the Sport, I have it in Sport mode. And remember, you're just gonna hit that mode selector button in Sport with the all-wheel drive and that V6 power. Right away, I do like the way everything is laid out in here. It's very easy to figure out. The infotainment system is a piece of cake. I mean, it's just very, very simple to figure out the whole 9 yards. and with that beautiful digital rear view mirror, really makes everything a snap. But seats are comfy, no massage settings, but I'm okay with that. I don't really need the massage. I'll wait to get one of those, the proper type of massage. But driving this, what I like is when you go into sport mode, it adjusts the steering, the throttle sensitivity. You are getting some sound through the speakers a little bit, but I do like the way that they use metal paddles. But let's go on throttle. Here we go. On the brakes into this right-hand bend. Brakes work phenomenal, as you would expect with those 6-piston Brembos. Back on the brakes. Pulling out. Nice shifts from the 9-speed automatic. But you can hear that pumped-in sound. I think I could do without that. Nice downshifts, though. That's another thing, is that when you put in sport mode, it changes how the engine and the transmission behaves, which is really nicely done. You got that large digital display in the center that gives you all sorts of information. And then we're gonna go back on throttle here. On throttle, here we go. Not too shabby, all things considering. You got a beautiful head-up display, very similar to the head-up display that's in my Camaro ZL1 1LE. Turning this right-hand bend. Back on throttle. All-wheel drive works great. It's very composed. Back on the brakes. Nice downshift there from the automatic transmission. But what's nice about the naturally aspirated V6 is you're going to get a very linear torque delivery, which is great. And it pulls nicely through the rev range, which is also a big plus. All right, guys, I put it in manual shift mode. You just pull back on the shifter. It lights up M. It actually has a small gear indicator. From a dead stop, we're gonna use those metal paddles. On throttle, here we go. Not the smoothest shifts from the 9-speed using the paddles. Downshifts are much nicer than the upshifts, but brake pedal is nice and stable, and I do like having an analog tach and speedometer. So it's just a little bit delay between the upshifts. Downshifts are much more responsive. But I love having the all-wheel drive. That keeps you planted. That's gonna keep you safe and confident. And then if you don't want to shift manually, you just pull back again and you're right back into drive. All right, guys, once again, from a dead stop, I do have it in regular automatic. On throttle, here we go. So good feedback coming to the wheel. I just would like a little bit more torque and a little bit more power. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. 350, 400 horsepower in this with over 320 pound-feet of torque, I think would be the perfect recipe to have a nice balance to really challenge the competition, especially something like a Ford Explorer ST. This would definitely be something nice to have that extra oomph. But we're gonna get onto the highway and see how this vehicle drives, especially when it comes to the sound quality to the interior from vibration and everything else. But driving on this frontage road does a great job soaking up the bumps. Seats are very, very supportive without being too soft like a marshmallow. And then of course you do have the Super Cruise feature when you are on the appropriate roads for that semi-autonomous driving. But getting out onto the highway, visibility is great. And then you'll see, or at least hear, or not hear, there's no real crazy sound on the interior. Even with the 20-inch wheels, it rides really nicely, and they did a great job on the sound deadening material and the thickness of the glass. But everywhere you touch really feels nice, high quality in here. Just like I said before, the brown wood, it could get the old heave-ho. But we're going to wrap this one up. Hopefully you've been able to get a good experience here with the XT6 Sport. We're gonna wrap this one up and get back to where it all started. So I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been a fun, sporty, I gotta pop my collar for that. Fun, sporty kind of day here on Rady's Rides with this opulent blue Cadillac XT6. I definitely want to thank everybody over at Cadillac. Maybe I gotta unbutton a button too, just to be extra sporty. I want to thank everybody over at Cadillac for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. 2023 XT6, I think it's kind of one of those forgotten SUVs. Is it better than the Q7? Is it your choice over the other German brands? Put your response in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. We got to give it up to the cool kid on the block, Stephen Flood Photography. He's been taking pictures since he was 3 years old. He started on a box camera, and now he's using the latest technology from around the world. But show Stephen some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.